All right, so if we have QGIS installed and Postgres installed and our data loaded, now we have to start to interact with that data. The best way to start is to double-click on the PG_QGIS project, and that's going to start up QGIS and load the data the way it currently is structured. So here we go. Here's the data. Over on the left-hand side are the data sets that are located inside of Postgres. So we're reading them directly, so that's a good thing. The problem, though, is if I want to get more of those, I don't have a way to get them. I have to actually set up and create a new connection. So I can go to Data Source Manager here, and there's a couple of ones in here, but none of these are pointing to our data. So I'm going to say connect. I'm going to say new, and I'm going to create one called Tompkins. And the host is 127.0.0.1, and my port is 5433. Keep an eye on what your port is. I'm not sure which one you chose when we did the install. So if you chose 5432, then that's what you put in. The database is Tompkins, and for the username and password, it's Postgres and then Postgres again. I go through this a couple of times in this video because you just got to get used to it. We'll test the connection, and that works, and I'm going to say OK. That's done. Now I can say connect, and I can see all of my data that is inside of Postgres. And here again is the data that we see with the different tables. Now back here inside of QGIS, if I want to bring in something else, for instance, let's bring in, let's say the states, I can then hit add, and all of a sudden the states come up, and I can zoom to them. Let's close this up, and I can zoom to a layer, and there are all of our states. I can put the parcels on top. There we go, and you can see the parcels have gone into upstate New York. Now here's the real important part. Under the database, we have what's called the DB Manager. So this is a way for us to talk to different databases. This is what's cool about QGIS, and you'll learn that in the QGIS class. So I can talk to Oracle and Spatial Light, and there's even a way to bring in SQL Server. So under PostGIS, I now have a Tompkins connection. I didn't have that before. Remember, we just created that. So when I come in here, I can now look at different data, and in fact I can go over here and let's remove the states, remove that layer, and if we bring in the states here, I can see the information and then just slide it in as well. So there are our states, so I'm going to remove that. So that's the first step in terms of how the DB Manager interacts. And if we click on different tables, we can see a lot of information about it. So this is a great way to understand your database schema inside of Postgres. So many times I'll just use the DB Manager rather than going into Postgres because it just seems a little more comprehensive, rather than going to pgadmin 4. So I really like this. I hope you get used to it as well. Now the next thing I want to do is create a new query layer. So I'm going to type SQL window, and that allows me to write SQL. So I can say select star from parcels. And once you try to do the same thing, or TC parcel, excuse me, select star from TC parcel, execute. Takes a second because it's grabbing 30,000 or 35,000 records, and I can see the data in the same way that I see the data inside of pgadmin, except what I can also do now is add this as a layer. So I can say load as new layer, and I'm going to give it a query result. That's going to have a layer that is the result of the query that I've written. So if we come in here, let's zoom to the query result, and you can see this is kind of a pink color. This is not really a layer. This is the result of a query. So this is actually happening sort of live as we issue queries. So you're going to see this again, but I just want to make sure you have this set up. And then under here, I can say update the SQL layer. And in this case, instead of select star from parcel, I'm going to say select star from parcel, TC parcel, where prop class is equal to agriculture. And then we'll execute that. That's done. But now look here, I've got another button that says update. And again, you're going to see this in another video. And that's done. And you can see these are the agricultural parcels that are showing as a result of this query right here. So I think that's really cool. So you can save your project now, so that way you have that query result in there, and then we can begin to issue other queries and update them. But that's going to be the way we're going to start to visualize data, is just write the query live inside of QGIS, and QGIS is actually talking to Postgres. So this is really what we would call a client-server relationship that we've set up. So that's the approach we're going to be going through, and like I said, I'm going to show you it a couple more times because I think it's that important. And I also think it's that groundbreaking that QGIS is allowing these virtualized results from queries to be dynamically drawn inside the QGIS desktop. But again, making use of all the Postgres tools that are available to you.